She seemed like everything you've been searching for. Charming, intelligent, emotionally tuned in a way you'd never experienced. She listened when you talked, not just nodded, listened. She remembered small details, checked in about your day, encouraged your goals. Your friends liked her, your family approved. You told yourself, quietly, I finally did it. I picked right this time. Fast forward 6 months. You're sitting in your car outside your own place, staring at the front door. Heart rate slightly up, jaw tight, doing mental calculations about her mood before you even see her. You're asking yourself, did I say something wrong this morning? Did I forget something she told me last week? Is she going to be cold, distant, upset about something I don't even remember? You notice you're rehearsing explanations for crimes you're not sure you committed. You're doubting your memory, doubting your judgment, doubting yourself. You're walking through your own life like you're in someone else's house, trying not to touch anything. And you can't work out how you went from calm, grounded, rational, to confused, anxious, and apologizing for things you don't recall doing. That's not an accident. You've stepped into the orbit of a psychologically dangerous woman. Not the obvious ones, not the screaming, plate-throwing stereotype. The other kind. The kind that looks like love in the beginning. The kind that operates through your mind, not your body. Today, I'm going to break down how these women actually function. The psychological weapons they use. The subtle ways they turn your mind against you. The warning signs most men miss. And how to protect yourself without becoming bitter, paranoid, or closed off to healthy women. Because the biggest threat to your mental health isn't the woman who hits you. It's the one who makes you hit yourself. 1. The shadow. Why some women feel like oxygen at first and poison later. In psychology, there's a concept called the shadow. It's the part of us that contains everything we don't want to admit, don't want to see, don't know how to handle. Unresolved trauma, bitterness, entitlement, rage, shame. If it isn't processed, it doesn't disappear. It leaks. Psychologically dangerous women carry a shadow that is not just unresolved, it's weaponized. They walk around, often unconsciously, with an internal rule: I will not hold my own darkness, someone else is going to carry it for me. That someone else is usually the most empathetic, capable man in the room. These women are not walking red flags at first glance. They can be smart, they can be funny, they can be professionally successful, they can be deeply spiritual or self-aware on the surface. The problem isn't that they have wounds. Everyone has wounds. The problem is they refuse to own them, so they outsource them. And if you're not trained to see it, you'll mistake her outsourcing for deep emotional connection. 2. How psychological contamination actually spreads. Let's be very clear about the mechanism. Dangerous dynamics don't start with her insulting you. They start with her inviting you into her pain. She opens up. Childhood trauma, bad ex stories, all the ways people have hurt me. You feel honoured. She trusts me. She doesn't tell this to just anyone. You lean in. You reassure. You comfort. You analyse. You commit internally. I'm going to be the one who doesn't hurt her. I'm going to be different. That's the hook. From there, something subtle starts happening. You stop being her partner and start being her emotional infrastructure. You become the regulator of her moods, the manager of her triggers, the shock absorber for her nervous system. Every time she offloads and you absorb, 2 things happen. She feels lighter, temporarily. You feel heavier, permanently. This is not connection. This is emotional dumping disguised as vulnerability. Over time, your nervous system gets trained. If she's okay, you're okay. If she's not okay, your life stops until she is. That is the first stage of psychological colonization. 3. The projection matrix. Her problems, your identity. The next weapon is projection. Projection is simple. Whatever she cannot admit about herself, she accuses you of being. She's selfish, you're selfish. She's controlling, you're controlling. She's emotionally unavailable. Somehow you're the one who never opens up. She's dishonest in small ways. You're constantly suspected of lying. Now, here's the important part. She does not experience this as a lie. She experiences it as truth. She genuinely sees her own disowned traits in you. So when she says, "You only think about yourself," you're trying to control me. You're not emotionally safe. You feel a jolt because it doesn't match your reality, but it's delivered with such conviction that you wonder, am I missing something? Am I actually selfish and don't see it? Is this my blind spot? And because you're not a narcissist, you do what self-aware men do. You scrutinize yourself. You review your actions. You try to see her point. You apologize for how you made her feel, even if your behavior was reasonable. Every time you accept responsibility for something that isn't yours, a piece of your self-trust dies. The projection matrix works like this. She projects her trait onto you. You defend yourself. Your defense is used as proof you have the trait. Over time, you stop defending and simply absorb the accusation. And now, she's not just attacking you from the outside. She lives in your head. 4. The victim predator. Poor me as a weapon. One of the most dangerous archetypes is the victim predator. She is the woman who leads with her wounds. I've been so betrayed. All my exes were narcissists. No one has ever really been there for me. People always leave. Your protector instinct lights up. You think, finally someone who appreciates depth. I'll be the man who doesn't hurt her. But watch what happens over time. In the beginning, her tears make you feel close to her. Her trauma stories make you feel trusted. Her pain makes you feel important. Later, every boundary you set hurts her. Every no you give abandons her. Every attempt at accountability attacks her. In her framework, you're not disagreeing, you're re-traumatizing. You're not clarifying, you're just like the others. So to avoid being the bad guy, you soften, retract, swallow your truth. She stays the eternal victim. You become the permanent apologizer. Underneath it all is a simple reality. She is not actually trying to heal. She is using her pain as a shield against responsibility. The more you try to rescue her, the deeper you fall into the role she needs. The man who pays, so she never has to grow. 5. The emotional parasite. She never gets. Full. Next archetype. The emotional parasite. She doesn't want a partner, she wants a host. At first, it looks like this. I just need someone who understands me. You're the only one I can really lean on. Nobody has ever been this supportive before. It sounds flattering, it feels special, but watch the pattern. Her life is a series of crises. There is always something broken, unstable, or too much right now. You are always the one pouring energy, money, advice, time into the black hole. You say, if we can just get through this phase, she'll finally be okay. But there is no after, because the crisis isn't a phase. The crisis is the ecosystem. What keeps her world functioning is exactly what is destroying yours. Your constant willingness to step in and hold up what she refuses to build or carry herself. She doesn't actually want resolution. She wants continuous supply. If you ever do pull back, you will hear lines like, "You've changed. You don't care like you used to. If you love me, you wouldn't leave me alone in this." That's not love being tested. That's the parasite panicking because the host is waking up. 6. The mass controller. Perfect in public, poison in private. Then there's the mass controller. Everyone loves her. Everyone. She is gracious, funny, polite, generous when people are watching. But behind closed doors, different creature. Cutting comments, cold withdrawal, constant criticism, subtle humiliation, emotional intimidation. You get both versions, the public angel, the private handler. And that combination is devastating because when you try to talk to others about what's happening, they can't see it. When you think about leaving, you anticipate being framed as the problem. She will use her public image as a weapon. Everyone thinks I'm amazing and you're the one who's always unhappy. Maybe you're the issue. You start asking yourself, if she's so great with everyone else, maybe I am the problem. That's the trap. Her mask buys her social credibility and buys your silence. She knows no one will believe your side because she's already pre-sold them a version of herself that cannot coexist with the truth you're living. 7. The chaos generator. Crisis as a lifestyle. Another archetype, the chaos generator. These women cannot tolerate peace. If things are calm, they will manufacture a problem. Why? Because chaos distracts them from their internal instability, creates intensity, they mistake for passion, keeps you off balance and emotionally engaged. Patterns you'll see: arguments based on tone, not content, fights created right before important events or obligations, sudden emotional explosions over minor issues, permanent emergencies, we need to talk now. You'll notice cycles: calm, period, tension rising around nothing, explosion over something small, emotional storm, sudden tenderness, tears, I don't want to fight, honeymoon phase. That up and down sequence becomes addictive. Your nervous system gets hooked on the high after the low. You confuse relief with love, calm after chaos with deep connection. When in reality, she's just draining your nervous system and then giving you small hits of dopamine so you'll stay. The relationship becomes less about living and more about surviving her emotional weather. 8. The boundary violator and gaslighter. Your no doesn't count. Now let's combine two, the boundary violator and the gaslighter. Boundary violator first. She operates under one unspoken rule: if you love me, I should have unlimited access. So, your phone is our phone. Your time is our time. Your plans are our plans. Your privacy is an issue. She shows up uninvited. She goes through your messages. She shares your private information with others. She makes decisions that affect you without asking. And when you try to push back, you're met with, "Why are you being so distant? Why are you hiding things? You're acting secretive. What are you up to?" Your natural desire for basic boundaries is pathologized as untrustworthy behavior. Now add gaslighting. The gaslighter does three things: denies what actually happened, rewrites history in her favor, makes you doubt your own sanity. You say, "You said X last week and it really affected me." She responds, "I never said that." You're so sensitive. That's not what happened. You always twist things. She will. Remember your flaws in HD. Forget her own failures in 144p. Over time, this does real damage. You start thinking, maybe I did overreact. Maybe my memory really is bad. Maybe I am the unstable one. Once you stop trusting your own perception, you are fully dependent on hers. That's the goal. 9. The emotional terrorist. Love as leverage. This archetype is the emotional terrorist. She weaponizes your care against you. You'll hear or feel, "If you leave, I'll fall apart. If you don't help me, who will? If you do that, I don't know what I'll do to myself. If you walk out that door, it just proves you never loved me." She doesn't need to say, "Do what I want, or I'll emotionally nuke you." You feel it, the pattern. Anytime you move toward independence, she moves toward meltdown. Anytime you draw a line, she escalates. Anytime you threaten the dynamic, she threatens catastrophe. Now you're not staying because you want to. You're staying because you feel responsible for preventing destruction. Your love turned into a leash. You are essentially under emotional blackmail. Pay the price with your life, or live with the guilt if I implode without you. That is not partnership. That is hostage-taking. 10. The identity thief and recovery blocker. Losing yourself in a shadow. Two more archetypes that often show up late: the identity thief and the recovery prevention agent. Identity thief first. She doesn't just want your time, she wants yourself. At first, it looks like influence. Do you really need to hang out with those guys? That hobby is kind of childish, isn't it? I don't like you doing X, it makes me uncomfortable. You adjust a little. You cut back slightly. You rationalize. Relationships require compromise. Over time, you see certain friends less. You drop certain interests. You stop speaking in certain ways. You mute parts of your personality, always for peace, always to avoid drama, always for the relationship. One day you look in the mirror and you don't quite recognize the man staring back. You didn't just lose habits, you lost identity. Now the recovery prevention agent. The moment you start looking into therapy, reading about narcissism, trauma bonds, boundaries, getting stronger, calmer, less reactive. She feels it, because her power depends on you staying confused and emotionally overwhelmed. So, the night before therapy, massive fight. The day after you set a boundary, she has a breakdown. The week you start getting stronger, she suddenly changes and love bombs you again. Your growth threatens the power structure, so every step forward is met with a pullback into the old pattern, not necessarily because she consciously plans it, but because unconsciously she knows. If he gets healthy, I lose control. 11. Early warning signs. Men ignore. Now, how do you spot all this early, before you're months deep in a trauma bond? Look for patterns, not one-off events, some red flags that show up faster than you think. 1. Intimacy. Acceleration. She pushes for deep emotional disclosure within days. I've never felt this safe with anyone within weeks. Talk of future, exclusivity, or moving in way too fast. Intensity is not depth. Fast attachment is not proof of compatibility. It's often evidence of instability. 2. Subtle isolation. She won't say, don't see your friends. She'll say, I just don't like their energy. I don't feel safe around them. When you're with them, you change. Every time you choose them, she gets hurt, cold, upset. Eventually, you avoid the conflict by avoiding your friends. Isolation achieved. 3. Emotional overreaction to small things. Tiny events, nuclear responses. You respond a bit late. You don't care about me. You forget something small. No one ever prioritizes me. You need space. You're abandoning me. Mismatch between trigger and reaction. Show internal chaos that will become your daily life. 4. Reality negotiation. Every disagreement becomes, that's not what I said. That's not how it happened. You're misremembering again. When honest recollection is treated as attack, you're not in a relationship. You're in a reality war. 12. Trauma. Bonding. Why you stay even when you know it's bad. A lot of men beat themselves up. If it's this bad, why can't I just leave? Because you're not just attached. You're trauma bonded. Trauma bonding, chia, alternating pain and relief in the same relationship until your nervous system ties your emotional survival to the very person overwhelming you. The pattern. 1. She creates chaos or explodes over something small. 2. You feel anxious, unsafe, confused. 3. She eventually calms down, becomes loving again. 4. You feel massive relief and cling to that side of her. Your brain then labels relief, treich, love, calm, teichi, proof, it's still worth it. So you stay, chasing the next good phase, ignoring that the only reason the highs feel so intense is because she dug the lows so deep. That's not love, that's addiction. 13. Financial and social entanglement. Making leaving expensive. Dangerous women rarely stop at emotions. They entangle money and social perception too. Financial entanglement. Moving in quickly. Shared leases, shared accounts, shared debts. Lifestyle creep based on your income. Her money stays her money. Your money becomes our money. Now leaving isn't just emotionally hard, it's logistically expensive. Social entanglement. She curates the perfect couple image. Posts about you as the best man alive. Wins over your family early, shows up as an angel in front of your friends. So if you leave, she can play victim. If you speak up, you look like the unstable one. The deeper the entanglement, the more threatened she'll be by any hint of separation. Which is why you need to see these patterns early, before your bank account and reputation are welded to someone else's instability. 14. How to protect yourself without becoming paranoid or bitter. So what do you actually do with all this? You don't avoid women. You avoid patterns. Here are some principles. 1. Believe behaviour, not words. I've done a lot of work on myself means nothing if she explodes over small things. I hate drama means nothing if her life is a rotating mess of conflict. My ex was crazy means nothing if every ex is crazy and she has no accountability. Her, regulation, consistency, respect for boundaries, treatment of other people will tell you more than any story she shares about herself. 2. Resist speed. If she's rushing, connection labels, moving in shared finances, future planning, slow things down. A healthy woman might be slightly disappointed, but she'll respect it. A dangerous one will panic, manipulate guilt, threaten to withdraw. That reaction is your answer. 3. Keep your life separate at the start. In the early stages, keep your own account, keep your own place, keep your own routines and friends. Integrate slowly based on sustained behaviour, not just feelings. If she respects your separateness, that's a green light. If she fights it, treats boundaries as rejection, or pushes for rapid merging, pay attention. 4. Train yourself to tolerate her discomfort. You do not need to fix every tear sigh, cold shoulder, hurt look. You can care without caving. You can say, I hear that you're upset. I'm still not changing my decision, and then stay there. That's where your self-respect grows. 5. Use your worst case lens. Early. Ask yourself, if her current traits were turned up to 10, could I live with that? If she's mildly jealous now, imagine extreme jealousy. If she's slightly dramatic now, imagine full-blown chaos. If she bends boundaries a little now, imagine full invasiveness. If the amplified version scares you, do not sign a long-term contract with the current version. 15. Not all women are dangerous, but some dynamics. This is important. The solution is not all women are toxic. Never trust women. Avoid relationships forever. That's just another prison, with you as the warden this time. There are women who own their shadows, take responsibility for their reactions, do their own therapy and inner work, respect your boundaries without punishing you for having them, bring stability rather than chaos, add to your life instead of consuming it. The difference? They don't ask you to abandon yourself to be with them. They don't need you to become smaller so they can feel bigger. They don't weaponize your empathy against you. They meet you as a man and not as a host. 16. The core lesson. You're not crazy. You're contaminated. If you've been in one of these relationships, you will come out doubting your reality, questioning your worth, feeling addicted to someone you know is bad for you, wondering what's wrong with you. Understand this. You are not crazy. You've just been standing in someone else's psychological storm so long you think the wind is coming from inside you. You are not weak for struggling to leave. You are bonded. You are not broken because you tolerated it. You were trained, conditioned, and slowly infected. The work now is not to hate her. The work is to see clearly, exit cleanly, heal thoroughly, choose differently. If this breakdown helped you recognize patterns you couldn't name before, use it. Go back through your past relationships with this lens. Notice where you ignored red flags, you confused intensity for intimacy, you apologized for things that weren't yours, you let your empathy override your instincts. You don't need to become cynical, you need to become discerning. The most dangerous women are often the ones who feel like a miracle at first. The strongest men are not the ones who can endure them the longest. They're the ones who can spot the pattern, walk away, and keep their mind, peace, and identity intact.